The new NBA season will start in just 1 month. Discussions about various teams have always been a hot topic among fans and the media. This includes the Bucks, who made a major trade during last offseason but did not achieve satisfactory results last season. The new season is particularly crucial for this once championship team. So, in the second season, when Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo are teammates, how do the two need to adjust to achieve good chemical reactions? What help can the new recruits in this offseason provide for the team? How competitive will the Bucks be in the new season? Today, let's talk about the Bucks in the new season and the future of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Since winning the championship in 2021, the Bucks have always been plagued by problems such as injuries and aging within the team. Except for Giannis Antetokounmpo, others cannot contribute stable and efficient performances. In the last 3 seasons, they have been unable to reach the highest stage. As time came to last offseason, whether Giannis Antetokounmpo could successfully renew his contract became the biggest problem plaguing the Bucks management. Years of unfavorable battles meant that the team had to make changes. In order to reduce Giannis Antetokounmpo's scoring pressure and share the offensive pressure he faced, the Bucks sent away championship contributor Holiday during last offseason and obtained outside scoring ace Lillard from the Trailblazers. This operation obviously satisfied Giannis Antetokounmpo very much. The Bucks also successfully reached a 3-year, $186 million maximum salary early contract extension with Giannis Antetokounmpo on the last day before the start of the regular season. After completing the contract extension, Giannis Antetokounmpo's contract with the Bucks was extended to the 2027 to 2028 season, with the last year being a player option. This means that as long as Giannis Antetokounmpo does not take the initiative to ask to leave the team, the core of the Bucks will stay with the team at least until the summer of 2027. But unexpectedly, the overall performance of the Bucks last season was rather disappointing. The 2023 to 2024 season, which was originally highly anticipated, turned out to be an extremely chaotic season for the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Lillard never found chemistry. Middleton suffered from injuries and declined severely. There were also problems in the team's locker room in the middle of the season. Head coach Griffin lost the support of the team and was forced to leave. Towards the end of the season, Giannis Antetokounmpo suffered another serious injury. The Bucks were defeated by the Pacers in the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, the poor performance of a team is not the responsibility of one person. So why didn't the Bucks achieve satisfactory performance last season? What aspects should be improved in the new season? These questions are obviously related to everyone on the team. Let's first take a look at the team's new recruit Lillard from last season. Lillard could average 24.3 points, 4.4 rebounds and 7.0 assists per game last season. Compared with his glorious data in the past, such data is obviously not satisfactory. 24.3 points is also the lowest average score per game in the last 9 seasons except for the 2021 to 2022 injury season. In addition, his shooting percentage is only 42.4%, and his 3-point shooting percentage is 35.4%, both of which are far below the average level of his career. After the start of the season, Lillard's personal offensive performance has been extremely unstable. In the first game, he made 9 of 20 shots and scored 39 points crazily. In the second game, he took as many as 12 shots and only made 2. Later, he had such inefficient performances as 5 of 15 against the Nets, 3 of 17 against the Bulls, and 5 of 14 against the Wizards, one after another. This unstable performance was attributed by many to Lillard's incompatibility with the Bucks. Although Lillard was successfully selected for the All-Star game thereafter and had an outstanding performance in the All-Star game, not only defending his title in the 3-point contest but also winning the MVP for the first time in his career, the doubts about him from the outside world have never stopped. Of course, although Lillard's offense is not stable, we have to consider that he just joined the team at the beginning of last season and still needed time to find his form. Comparatively speaking, his biggest problem is naturally his off-ball defense. If the Bucks really want to return to the top, Lillard must pay more on the defensive end. Especially his off-ball defense, which has also been a field criticized throughout his career. Many times last season, Lillard lost his focus when the player he was defending cut to the basket or moved to a different position to prepare for a shot. This cannot happen frequently in the new season, and his concentration on the defensive end must improve in the new season. In addition, Lillard should learn how some other small and not so strong defenders in the league make up for this deficiency. According to the hustle data of the NBA, the Warriors' BP and the Knicks' Brunson led the league in the average number of offensive fouls drawn per game last season, while Lillard ranked only 79th in this aspect. It is worth noting that a large part of these offensive fouls occurred in off-ball situations. The only problem is that drawing offensive fouls is not necessarily a good thing to some extent, because in many cases, there is a certain risk of injury. However, this does not mean that Lillard should not be involved. Whether Lillard can deliver a stable offensive performance in the new season and whether he can further improve his off-ball defense will be the key for the Bucks to go further. Next, let's look at the performance of the other major core, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo played 73 games last season and averaged 30.4 points, 11.5 rebounds and 6.5 assists per game. Such an average performance is undoubtedly at the MVP level. Looking across the entire league, his average score ranks 3rd, and his average rebounds rank 6th. Within the Bucks, his scoring and rebounding are both first on the team, and his shooting percentage of 61.1% is significantly ahead of other teammates. He is the undisputed number 1 core of the team. But at the same time, due to the loss of the team's external defensive resources and the team's extreme reliance on his personal offense, Giannis Antetokounmpo's defense declined last season. When he was defending opponents, the opponent's 3-point and 2-point shooting percentages only dropped by 0.9% and 2.7% respectively. Combined with his defensive efficiency, on the defensive end, he can impose certain restrictions on opponents inside the 3-point line, but his ability to limit opponents is not at the top level, which is somewhat inconsistent with people's impression of his superb defense. In the new season, Giannis Antetokounmpo also needs to put more focus on the defensive end. In addition, the quantity and quality of Giannis Antetokounmpo's screens are also aspects that he urgently needs to improve. According to the statistics of NBA advanced data, Giannis Antetokounmpo only participated in about 7% of the Bucks' offensive rounds as a screener last season. Although he doesn't need to do too much screening in every game, this number of 7% should be higher. Another issue is the quality of screening. When Giannis Antetokounmpo and Lillard are in a pick and roll, the opposing defensive player knows that Giannis Antetokounmpo will only roll to the basket and not pop out. After all, Giannis Antetokounmpo is not good at shooting. Therefore, the defensive player doesn't need to hesitate too much when switching defenses. The switching defender closely follows the Greek freak, and the interior player contracts. This leads to Giannis Antetokounmpo, who receives Lillard's pass after the pick and roll, often hesitating a bit and often unable to make a decision immediately. And this situation in turn restrains Lillard's performance. Lillard's 3-point shooting percentage after the pick and roll with Giannis Antetokounmpo is only 35.4%. The inability to connect the inside and outside lines after the pick and roll and the lack of threat in offense may be the reason why the pick and roll between Giannis Antetokounmpo and Lillard fails to show its power. Lillard needs Giannis Antetokounmpo's pick and roll to create offensive space for himself, and Giannis Antetokounmpo also needs to use pick and roll cooperation to get the opportunity to attack the inside. But who will finish the attack often becomes the biggest problem between the two. Compared to when Lillard had unlimited firing rights on his own in the Trailblazers, he obviously has more concerns on the Bucks. And after a big star like Lillard joins and teams up with him, Giannis Antetokounmpo will also have such concerns. This also leads to some moments in the Bucks games when the pick and roll between Lillard and Brook Lopez seems to achieve the best effect. To be fair, Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't have much experience setting screens for players like Lillard. Opposing teams will send super defenders to closely guard Lillard without any blind spots and chase him closely. Setting a screen for a player being defended like this is not easy. This requires constantly adjusting the screening position and resetting the screen to achieve the expected contact while also avoiding fouls. But in order to jointly improve the performance of the two on the offensive end and exert the maximum power of the two, Giannis Antetokounmpo must play a role in the pick-and-roll cooperation with Lillard. To wear the crown, one must bear its weight. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the key to improving the team's level. If he can focus on becoming a better screener, there is no doubt that he will lead this team to a new height. The last member of the Big Three, Middleton, also needs to improve. Middleton, who became the team's third ball handler last season, performed quite well overall. Especially in the playoffs, when Giannis was absent, he could still contribute an average of 24.7 points stably. For a player who just recovered from a serious injury, obviously we cannot ask for more. At the same time, there are also problems exposed by Middleton. That is, sometimes dealing with overly complex problems will lead to turnovers. When Middleton makes decisions on passing, dribbling or shooting, it is better to do only limited dribbling actions. When he holds the ball for too long, there may be a risk of turnovers. As Middleton gets older, his ability to break through has decreased significantly compared to the past. He should reduce dribbling across the half-court when facing confrontation pressure and should not do too many singles near the three-point line. If he can focus on a simpler way of playing, perhaps Middleton's performance will further improve. After talking about the big three, let's talk about what changes have taken place to the Bucks lineup in the new season besides them and what the joining of new recruits can bring to the Bucks. The starting shooting guard Beasley and the backup point guard Beverley of the Bucks left the team this summer. They recruited Prince, Trent Jr., Wright, etc. Considering that all three of them joined on a minimum salary, our expectations for them will naturally not be too high, but they can indeed alleviate some of the Bucks' problems in certain aspects. First of all, it is Prince, who we are most familiar with. This 3D player did not complete the contract renewal with the Lakers during the offseason, but chose to join the Bucks on a minimum salary and return to Coach Ham's team. With a three-point shooting percentage of more than 39%, which can help Giannis Antetokounmpo open up space on the court, Prince will have many performance opportunities in the Bucks lineup next season. At the same time, he also has certain defensive capabilities. When facing the top forwards in the league, Giannis does not have to do everything himself in every round. Prince can also step up and defend against them. Wright fills the vacancy of Beverley. As a tall guard with a height of 196 centimeters, Wright's defensive ability has always been very good, but his offensive level is extremely limited. He can break through but has no close-range shots. He has three-pointers but with a low output. However, considering that there are already many ball handlers in the Bucks lineup, if Wright only focuses on dribbling across the half-court during the transition stage and defensive tasks, then presumably he can complete the tasks well. Trent Jr. is more like the most anticipated one among the three new recruits. Past experiences have proved that as long as he has enough performance opportunities, he can steadily contribute at the starting level. For example, on the defensive end, compared with Beasley's weak defense, Trent's defensive performance is better. And on the offensive end, he can fully handle being the third or even the second defensive option on the court and won't waste every scoring opportunity created. All in all, the three new recruits have significantly upgraded compared to Beverley, Beasley, and Crowder last season. Of course, this has not brought about a structural qualitative change for the Bucks. In the new season, they will inevitably face more severe challenges in the Eastern Conference. The biggest opponent, the Celtics, needless to say. And besides the Celtics, the 76ers will also have an impact on the Bucks. Compared to the aggressiveness shown by the 76ers in the offseason, the Bucks were slightly more conservative. The 76ers successfully recruited George and Martin in the offseason and signed Yabusele, Drummond, etc. They will also be big troubles for the Bucks on their way to winning the championship next season. It is worth mentioning that the recent news that Giannis Antetokounmpo might leave the team has also attracted widespread attention. It can be predicted that if the Bucks still cannot achieve satisfactory results in the new season, the possibility of Giannis Antetokounmpo leaving the team will greatly increase. As mentioned earlier, Giannis Antetokounmpo can stay with the team at least until the summer of 2027 without taking the initiative to leave. But what if he actively requests a trade? You know, many teams have expressed interest in recruiting Giannis Antetokounmpo over the past period. Among them, the most discussed ones are undoubtedly the Mavericks and the Warriors. Warriors owner Joe Lacob has never concealed his fondness for Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has praised the influence of this Greek freak many times in interviews and is very much looking forward to him forming a terrifying partnership with Curry. This is also one of the shortcuts for Curry to compete for the championship again towards the end of his career. Before Giannis Antetokounmpo led the Bucks to win the championship, there were rumors in the league that he was very likely to go to Dallas to team up with Luka. Now, with the Bucks in a poor situation, this topic has been brought up again. If Giannis Antetokounmpo really teams up with Luka, Clay, Irving, etc., the Mavericks' interior line will be greatly enhanced, and the competitiveness of this lineup in the Western Conference will be greatly improved, almost unstoppable. Anyway, the new season is crucial for the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Will they soar to the top of the league again or sink and start a new round of rebuilding? No one knows the result until the end. By the way, they still have one of the biggest hidden dangers, that is, when it comes to the crucial moments of the playoffs, will this gentleman's reversal buff come into effect again?